Orioles fans, is this one of the worst Orioles teams ever? The bird is trying to tell us to keep the faith. Thank God I'm a country boy, but we have to ask the question, is this going to be the worst Orioles team ever? And if not, why not? Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest. Another heartbreaking loss for the Orioles against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Birds have now dropped 7 in a row. The Birds are in dire straits. The Birds are at rock bottom. And our friends at Camden Chat this morning asked the question, will this be one of the Orioles' worst teams ever? We're going to get to that and the stats. We're going to get to the latest on the injuries and can the Orioles bounce back and what it is going to take. I'm going to start with a quick story. In 1988, when the Orioles went 0-21, I actually threw out the first ball at one of those games. My stepfather was a Burger King franchisee, and it was Burger King Day. And I often think of that 0-21 start and just how miserable and heartbreaking and all of the things that start was. And, that was from, I think, April 4th to April 28th in 88. It was the 0-21 start. You remember Cal Ripken Sr. got fired after 6 games. Frank Robinson came in, and what a nightmare. And it's almost like PTSD now because the Orioles simply cannot win. And from our friends at Camden Chat, they tell us that right now, the 2025 Birds are tied for the third worst start of any of these historically horrific O's teams. I just told you about 88, 0-21 start, eventually recovered to finish with a 335, which is actually better than the Orioles' current 326 mark. But if the Birds continue at this pace, they will finish the year with 53 wins, only better than the 2018 and 2021 teams, which were in the middle of a huge rebuild. We're going to get to the overall stats in a moment. But first, again, from our friends at Camden Chat, the worst Orioles teams ever. So you have 88. You see the win percentage through 46, 196. Final was 54 wins. In 2018, the 304 through 46 games, 47 wins. This year, you see the numbers, we're at a 326. We don't know where we're going to end up. But in 2019, we had the exact same win percentage at this point, and we won 54 games. And then 2021, you can see we won 52 games. So the Orioles are on an historically bad pace. And as we all know, the problem is we all had expectations for this team. Now, you could say the team that Mike Elias built wasn't built to win the division, but it was built at the very least to be a wild card team, and everybody had us basically projected as a wild card team. Nobody expected, we knew we would have pitching problems. Put that aside for a second. Nobody expected our lineup to be this lethargic. Who's going to fix it? New manager comes in, you lose 3 in a row. A new manager isn't going to fix it overnight. What is the organization going to do to fix it? And unfortunately, there is a lot to fix. You look at just a snapshot of our overall stats this year. Obviously, we know win percentage, but runs per game, 25th in baseball. Total bases per game, 19th. Run differential, which, let's break it down. It means you're not pitching well and you're not hitting well. Run differential, almost the worst in the league. Opponents' run differential, you just, the stats don't lie, and the stats tell, unfortunately, a really bad story. But I truly believe the Orioles just need some sort of shot in the arm, and I thought it was last night when the Birds were down 4-1, then they tied at 4-4. You actually felt like, okay, maybe we're going to see some Orioles magic, but we didn't, and we just couldn't. We just can't win right now. And sometimes it happens that teams just can't win. Now, Here's why I don't think this year's team will be an historically bad team. And I get a lot of comments about this questioning me, but here's why I don't think. And that is when you look at the team of injuries, if we get even a handful of these guys back in at least, fairly short order, I believe the Birds can have a decent second half. Now, what does decent mean? I don't know. Does that mean the Birds end with 70 wins? I mean, at this point, I think 70 wins would be amazing. But you look at the injuries. Tyler O'Neill back on the IL. We don't know when he's going to return. The guy's never healthy. We just don't know. Just a huge hit in the middle of the lineup. Colton Cowser, we're hoping he's back in June. We're hoping in 2-3 weeks he's back. He took batting practice a few days ago, and he's going to go to the minors soon and rehab. So there is that. So maybe you get him back. Kittredge, Kittredge would be a huge boost to the bullpen. He should be back in the next week or so. Okay? You have Tyler Wells. We talked about him. He's going to he had another bullpen session just yesterday. He's supposed to be back in August. Jordan Westberg, you see, we don't know when Jordy's going to be back. Still on the IL. He had a setback. He's been shut down from running. That could be a long-term, sort of play. Grayson, we don't know when he's going to get back. And there's a lot of guys who aren't even on this list. Enrique Bradfield, one of our top prospects, still hurt. He should be back very, very, very soon. Gary Sanchez is on, he's going to be out and reevaluated, but he's going to be out for a while. You have Bradish, you have Cody Poteet, you have Albert Suarez, you have all of these guys on the IL. So if we can just get a few of these guys back on the major league club, I believe that the Orioles can avoid being the worst team in Orioles history. Again, but it starts with just one win. And who is going to be that guy who steps up and does something in the clutch? And that's the thing. It's almost as if the Orioles have forgotten how to win. And when teams forget how to win, it goes downhill quickly. And this season has gone downhill very, very quickly again. One of the worst starts in Orioles history. I don't believe this will be one of the worst Orioles teams in Orioles history because we're going to get guys back from injury and things like that. But at this point, it is looking bleak. I'm Jon Leiberman, Orioles Digest.